if you are trying to promote long form video, all you
Mm.
have to do is find people who are already looking for what you're offering. So you can go on Reddit, you can go on Quora, you can go in Facebook and you can search up these groups and you can even search up the question that you're trying to answer, right? How do I
Mm.
promote my gym, whatever. Find the conversations that are already taking place and you can just say, "Hey, here's what I recommend. I see this problem all the time. Here's what I recommend to my clients. One, two, three, four, or a couple bullet points. If you want, I go
Yeah.
way more in depth in this video, link video." So you would come
Okay.
in comment sections and in replies and all these places to do this, right?
Yeah. Mm. And what about the shorts and the short form? Is that just like I've promoted there too, right? That's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, you can promote it on short form, but in short form, you're trying to convert an audience into going to view your content. If you go to where people are already asking, then they're going to click on the video.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
different if so you have like dark hair and glasses, right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to find a girlfriend, then you'd be saying, "Oh, look at me, I have this and this." But if you then go to a group of girls who are like, "Our type is guys with dark hair and glasses," where do you think you're going to have better success?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Go to the people who already want what you have, then worry
Yeah.
about converting new audiences. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, so there's a few places for gym owners. There's not many online. Reddit isn't really one of them. Mostly Facebook groups they hang around in. And you have to be a bit careful what you do in there because if you try and be a bit too much self-promoting, they kind of they don't like it. Um,
Right. So if you are trying to promote your content, it would not make sense for you to go around saying, "Hey, go watch my video." Think about
mm,
this. Let's switch seats. This is the easiest way to understand how to engage with somebody, right? And a lot of people mess it up because they don't do this exercise the right way. If we want to figure out how people make purchasing decisions or how people make decisions to view content, the easiest way to do it is to understand the way that you make purchasing decisions. Because
mm,
ideally, you would like to work with people who are similar to you, right? Not in
yeah,
terms of appearance, but in terms of decision making, positioning, whatever the case may be. Okay.
yeah, sure.
So the question, and a lot of people manipulate this because they want to take a theoretical point of view and they basically just yes man themselves, right? So yes man basically just says they tell themselves what they want to hear or they make it work, right? So for you, why would you ever watch a long form video? Why would you ever watch a YouTube video?
Usually because it goes more in depth and I
In depth
feel
on
like
what?
on a topic I don't know about or
Right.
I f- I need more information. The short form isn't there's not enough in there for me to learn how to do something.
Great. Now, how do you find videos? What leads you to click on a long? So you search out a long form video, or maybe you might entertain the concept of watching a long form video simply because you want to learn more about the topic. But how do you actually pick? So now we understand that. Now let's get specific. How do we actually pick a specific piece of content?
Usually I look at who's in the video, like if I recognize them, if there's someone I can
Okay.
tell a rep.
So what would
Or,
cause you? So, and you're exactly right. People will go back to what they're familiar. Now, what would cause you to pick on a new person's video?
um,
Why did you watch any of my videos, for example?
I saw you on in a group of what was it? It was like this guy Dominic Baptiste. I think I saw you in his Facebook group, and you were like giving out free advice. And I was like, this guy promoting himself. What's he doing in this group? Why is he allowed to do that? And then I just watched a few of them, and I was like, okay, I don't understand what he's talking about, but it sounds interesting.
Right.
Um,
So when you said, okay, this sounds interesting, why does it sound interesting? Did I ask you for money?
no, it sounded a bit different to what I had heard before. It sounded more almost in opposite direction, like niche down. Um, So that's, and also because your channel wasn't huge and you weren't like trying to make lots of affiliates, so it was obviously you weren't trying to make a huge amount of money.
Right.
You're trying to provide you, and I
So
think I
what
yeah,
what
because
you
it's
got to do is you want to do value
yeah.
to people who want it. This is it starting out. Value to people who want it. They already want it.
Mm,
So how do we do that? Well, you want to, and this is why I love Facebook because local businesses will go on here. So find groups. Why are local businesses on here?
mm,
Because local businesses want local clients. Local clients hang out on Facebook.
mm-hmm,
So find groups. Go where your audience is. Facebook
mm,
groups. If I were working with business coaches, I wouldn't go to Facebook. Or maybe I
mm,
do go to Facebook because my business coaches, they work with local service-based clients and local service-based clients go to Facebook. So because their clients are on Facebook, they're on Facebook, which means I can be on Facebook, right?
mm,
If I only want to work with auto detailers, then I need to be on Facebook and Instagram because auto detailing is very visual. Gyms are very visual, right?
mm,
So I need
yeah,
to be on Instagram and Facebook. Well, that's where Meta Business Suite comes into play, right?
yeah,
Combines it too. Well, what if I want to be on the make money online space? Okay, well, that needs to be TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, right? So go to your people. With groups, it's really easy because there's already an audience. So
mm,
the easiest way to do this is basically, let's come over here. Oops. Let's change the color here for a second. So the fastest way, not the easiest way, the fastest way is don't build an audience. Don't.
Allocate. Oh, there it is. I was going to say I couldn't see your screen, but it just popped up.
You want to hack one. That's it. If I'm in Dom's group, did I build Dom's group?
mm, no,
No, I just went in there and I promoted content.
mm,
That's it. You can find all kinds of groups where people are engaging. Now, when you
mm,
promote content, this is where people mess up. You can't do what everybody else is doing. So we want to basically do one of two things. You want to reply to questions or make posts. Those are your two
mm,
options. Reply to
yeah,
questions or make posts.
yeah,
Starting out, this is really easy.
mm-hmm,
So just start with replying to questions.
yeah,
Why? Because they already asked. The question is waiting. Go answer it. It's already waiting for you.
mm,
Do you think you're the only gym owner to ever ask the question of how do I do this? So all you have to do is answer it. Not too complicated, right? Let's come back here to make posts. If you want to make posts, this is a little bit trickier because people don't want you to be posting in their group, right? Now, have you ever seen a post of mine get taken down? Never. Why? It needs to be a value bomb.
mm.
What are things that let's go the opposite direction. What are things in a post that make you disinterested? I make a
Um,
post. I could have a beautiful post, but I say one thing, one sentence, one comment, one phrase that makes you go, ugh, not interested. Maybe I talk about my orange Bugatti, right? Like, what is it to you that makes you think like, oh, I'm like, that's it, I'm out.
it seems very like markety. That is very much like a generic sort of um, not really like thought out. More like you just sort of you're doing it to sell. Like it's very
Hmm.
like sales of
So
um,
let's say sales oriented.
hmm.
Is that fair?
Yeah, yeah. If that's it, the first thing the first thing I see is like trying to sell
Selfish,
your course, your personal thing, something like that. Um,
pushing, um, we could say pushing an offer,
yeah, pushing an offer definitely. Anything
right?
with yeah.
So when these things are happening, right? When these things are happening,
Hmm.
why do they turn you off from the offer, right? It's like a marketing ick, right?
Yeah.
Why do these turn you off?
You just sort of okay. So because as a business owner or general, I've just seen it so many times. I get DMs, I get emails, and it's like the same offers every single time, and the same ads. I see ads all the time, and it's the same offers. And you just get tired of them. Like it's the same sort of agencies selling the same thing, all generic stuff. You don't know this person or who they are or um why they're pushing. So I would say there's this trust issue. Like I don't trust, and when you're trying to sell to me, it's like it sounds a bit fishy. Like why are you trying to sell? Like if you're doing well, why are you a bit desperate for sales? Um,
Right. So let me plug in my little keyboard so I can keep writing. But number one is going to be you don't trust it because
yeah,
you can see that they're trying to make money. Now, are you faulting anybody for making money? We all understand businesses need money to operate, right?
yeah, yeah.
Even Grant Cardone, Alex Hormozy, Gary Vee, they have money coming in. They want that money to keep coming in. They're not doing that for free. They're not going to say, "Oh, don't pay me. Let me drop all my means of conversion." No one's doing that, right?
Yeah.
So when that happens, it's not that you're upset that they're monetizing it.
Mm.
Let's go back here for a second. What do I have highlighted or underlined right here? Right
Yeah.
here.
Reply to what posts,
What is this? I'll
questions,
highlight
questions, looking
questions. When you
questions. Yeah,
ask a question, what are you looking for?
looking for an answer.
Okay, you're looking for an answer. You're not looking to give money, right?
Yeah, looking for a solution.
So the problem is people skip the steps. It's like I get on a dating app, which means I want to find love. When I have love, a fruit of that is going to be maybe get married and have sexual relationships, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So A leads to B leads to C. The problem is that a lot of guys and a lot of marketers think, well, A equals B equals C. No, A leads to B, which leads to C. You're on
Hmm.
a dating app to lead to a relationship, which may lead to a physical uh, sort of intimacy, right? It doesn't mean I'm on a dating app, therefore I want physical intimacy, therefore go straight in for the intimacy.
Mm. Mm.
That's the problem is that these people will say, oh, well, theoretically, I think this, therefore I'm going to justify making a really salesy, slimy pitch or
Hmm.
post. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a question while I plug this in. But if we want to go not A equals B equals C, but if rather we need to understand that A leads to B, which could lead to C, how should we then reply? Because right here, if you're going sales oriented, you're saying, oh, you ask a question, therefore you need help, therefore you'll buy from me. No,
Mm.
A does not equal B, does not equal C, but A can lead to B, can lead to C. Now, A is the prospect asking a question, C is me making the pitch. So, what needs to be in between to bridge the prospect to trust me, to go to my content, to go do whatever that will eventually lead to the sale? So, what does B become? Or what do you think B becomes while I plug this in?
I'd say it's a solution or something that helps them essentially, um, that solves a problem or teaches them something valuable. Um,
Okay.
mm.
So now you're saying, well, I can't go. straight in for the sale, right? Because they didn't ask for the sale, right? This is like the um social media or the online equivalent of like just sending an unsolicited picture, right? Buy my offer. And everyone's like, I don't want to see that, right? It doesn't mean that you're opposed to offers. It just means this is like not the time, place, or I don't want it from you, right?
Yeah.
So let's scroll down and let's add this, right? So A should lead to B, should lead to C.
Mhm.
C is the offer. A
Mm.
is the question. And question stems from what? Why would you ask a question about anything?
You need help,
You need
right?
help. It stems. So the question, if we look at the question, I guess I'll come over here and let's see how I want to write this. The question stems from pain.
Mm.
So the pain, let's switch the order. Uh, boom, boom. Pain leads to the question. The question leads to a post, right? Then we don't know what's going on here, but we want this to lead to money. So
Mm.
the way that we bridge this gap, or let's even take it a step further or a step back. And the reason I'm taking the painful time to detail this is that way, if you can understand this at a deep level, then you won't have to rely on me for these kind of questions. Not that I
Mm.
don't like answering them, but I want you to be, self uh proficient, self-sustaining, right? All right. So what problem or what objectives does B need to solve?
So to bridge the gap between the pain and make,
The question and monetizing it. What does B need to solve?
it needs to solve their whatever is causing them pain.
Okay, so it could be answer the question.
Mm.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Now, when you answer the question, does is this satisfied? Is the question satisfied?
Um. Yeah. I mean, it depends how you answer it.
Well, let's
You
say I
could.
answer it perfectly. Does that satisfy the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that close the deal for you?
Well, no, you don't make any money off from just like
So,
answering the
right. So again, this has to be a win-win. So let's bridge the gap. So answer the question needs to be in there, but it's not all that needs to be in there. What else needs to be in there?
what else needs to be in there. Well, you know, grow an audience. You could say, hey, if, I don't know, if try and reach out to them, or maybe say if you need any more help, this is what something you can watch or somewhere you can go, and then
Call to
that
action.
way, call to action. Yeah, that's
And then why would I take any action with the CTA? What would cause you to, let's say, what would cause you to not work with somebody?
to not work as somebody. If there's, if I get a feeling that I can't trust them, or they just they've not done anything, that they have no social proof, or they just make some
There you go. And so let's flip it. What would cause you to work with somebody or consider working with somebody? Trust,
trust. Yeah. Um.
proof of concept,
Yeah. Those two things are really important.
and let's say we could add in their personality.
Yeah. Personality. Yeah.
So when you respond in your question, not just your
Mm.
content, in your question, you need to have all of this.
Okay.
When you make a post,
Yeah.
what am I missing here from a post? What was this in response to? What was A?
There's a pain point, right? There's a
Yeah. So this
question.
is how you handle a reply.
Mm.
What's the part we're missing right here? The pain point. So if you're making a post, it would be, hang on, let me add this person real quick. All right. If you're making a post, it would be pain point
Mm-hmm.
Then it would be answer. Then it would be call to action. And
Mm-hmm.
in your answer, you need to build trust using proof of concept and personality. This frames the value add.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm telling you to make a value add, what I'm telling you to do is say, hey, I get this question all the time. Hey, I see a lot of people in this group asking this question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing up the pain point. I'm creating the setting. I want to show you. So here's the exact framework, right? Now, when we're making content, this is any content at all. Or let me rephrase that. This is short form content. When we're making short form content,
Yeah.
what we want to do with I don't know why this thing is fighting me when it comes to changing the color, but let me do it with the mouse. Let's go dark purple. When we are making short form content, we're gonna have a question slash hook, which leads to payoff. Now, again, I'm going to ask you a question and I want you to answer it, okay?
Sure.
What is 2 plus 2?
4.
Great. Question is 2 plus 2. If you also have the question of what 2 plus 2 is, like maybe you are in first grade or kindergarten and you're trying to cheat on a test and somebody says, hey, you know what 2 plus 2 is? They're
Mm-hmm.
holding their breath. What's the answer? I'm trying to put it on the test, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's 2 or it's 4, right? 2 plus 2 is 4. I remember when I was in elementary school, we had to do a spelling test. We had to do it in cursive. And one of the words was like quiz, right? So Quiz, but it was
Mm-hmm.
in cursive. And so for the kids who didn't know how to spell, they'd be like, hey, how do I do a Z in quiz? And then all the kids who didn't know how to spell it were like, oh, Z is the last letter. So they were like, again, for you and I, the question of how do I put a cursive Z might be a joke. But to the kids who that just helped out, oh, Z is the last letter, they're holding their breath for that, right?
Yeah.
That is the payoff. Now, if I just make content on like that, I've addressed the pain point. This is 1. I've given
Mm-hmm.
the answer. This is 2. But I'm missing proof of concept and personality. I'm missing call to action. So what we then need to do is the way we structure it is we structure it with question, hook, goes into proof of concept slash personality, goes
Mm-hmm.
into answer, goes into call to action.
Mm-hmm.
This becomes your short form structure for written a little bit slightly longer, not quite like tweet short, not quite a caption. So written replies and short form content. This becomes a very loose structure. Think about it.
Yeah.
You look at the pack framework, it's problem agitation, frame
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Why should I listen to you? Old way bad, new way good.
Yeah.
Call to action.
Yeah.
Now, let's take it deeper. Okay. And you can see this is a very simple question you asked, but you can see just how much thought goes into this to make sure, because again, we're thinking skeptically from the buyer's POV. We're not
Mm-hmm.
thinking, how do I connect with a buyer? No, if you think for a moment, I'm not saying you, but I see this all the time where people go, how do I had a guy come to me, he paid me a lot of money. And one of the questions he asked me pays me a lot of money. Okay.
Yeah.
And I fired him after asking me this question. I'm not even kidding. He goes, how do I sell something for $10,000? And I said, you have to provide something that makes at least 5 to 10x that much money for the client for you to justify taking a portion of what they made you. Because again, if I made you 100,000, would you give me 10K of that? Yeah, easy. That's a no-brainer, right? And he goes, yeah, but I really want to know how I sell something for, all he wanted to do was make money.
Mm-hmm.
He is trying too hard to worry about how can I get somebody to buy what I have to offer. He needs to worry about what do buyers want. So he was thinking, as a seller, how can I get buyers to buy? Instead,
Mm-hmm.
he needs to say, as a buyer, how do I buy? Now flip, now pivot, how do I sell to that person? So if we keep that mentality, okay,
Yeah.
let's keep this going. The question needs to be a question that I care about. How do I make it a question I care about? It needs to be relative. It needs to be relative to the offer. It needs to be relative to the problem. If you, now you own your own gym, but if I don't own my own gym, how do I do that? I need to learn what these people want. Don't think, oh, they want this. I had a client come to me in 2023, last year. He goes, I built, that was 2022, sorry. He goes, I built this wonderful product. Can you review it? He sends it over to me. I go, yeah, let me review it. It is Linktree. I'm sorry.
Mm.
This is not 2012. This is not 2014. This is 2020. My brother in Christ, you are 10 years behind. How do you think he took that? Do you think that he listened to the feedback, or do you think that he thought, this is my baby, don't you dare disrespect my baby?
Yeah, probably number two.
Yeah. And guess where his business went?
Oh, I don't think he could sell the tree.
It didn't go anywhere good.
Yeah.
Okay. It went nowhere. Why? Because he thought, what can I sell people? Or let me develop an already mature product. He didn't think about what do people care about. It was absolutely unrelated. And I knew that he had never learned what his audience wanted because the product was unrelated and the product did not solve a single problem people cared about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So guess what Alec, me talking in third person like a weirdo, guess what Alec asks you guys to do?
Research what your people in your niche want,
Yep,
or what will help them essentially, I guess.
exactly. This is
The
awful.
results they're looking for.
Right. And how do you figure that out?
You do research, you talk to them in the industry, people in the industry, talk to
Yep,
business,
right
make,
here.
yeah. So,
Reverse trade market analysis.
all right, yeah,
In the reverse trade market, we do what? Competition, market, and avatar, just like Catherine said.
yeah.
Talk to them. Pick up the phone.
Mm.
Meet with them in person. Put a group out, put a listing out, right? But again,
Mm.
you can even go to ChatGPT. I have questions in the folder that show you how to have ChatGPT act as your avatar. It gives you a good starting point, but use it as a starting point. Don't use it lock in and be like, oh, I can skip all the other steps, right? You'll end up like this guy.
Mm.
So the question has to be what people care about. Now let's look at proof of concept personality. Personality, this is kind of a trick one. Personality is how you answer. It is how your call to action is structured. It is how you phrase your question. It is how you speak. It is tonality. It is everything about you.
Mm.
Hassan, what's your favorite sports team?
Mm. Nothing really, I guess maybe Manchester City. Football.
Great. You just made a ton of enemies and you just made a ton of friends.
Mm.
When you talk to your friends about sports, about video games, about the gym, about anything that you're passionate about food, do you like, for example, do you like crab? You ever have crab?
Mm. Never had it though.
Yeah, I've had it. I don't like it. My wife loves crab. Right there, and they're like, how can you not like it? What do you mean? How can I like it? It's disgusting. I love crab. Have you ever had good crab? No, you've only had bad crab. It's a whole conversation over crab, right? Look, you already have beef in the chat right there, and then you can talk about why it's the best team, why it's not the best team. I grew up here. I know they suck. Okay, good. At least you know they suck. Hey, easy, right? You had a
Mm.
whole thing. It's a whole thing. So the personality becomes who you are and how you speak. That's why or talking head content, camera on you, on your face, front facing content is going to do so well because if you can talk to the camera like it's a friend, you don't have to worry about injecting this. What do I
Mm.
tell everybody when you write content? What do I say? Read it out loud, make sure it sounds like it would come out of your mouth. That right there is the easiest way to inject personality. And I don't mean it's coming out of your mouth at a presentation. I don't mean it's coming out of your mouth at a work call. I'm talking it's coming out of your mouth when you're on the Xbox party chat. It's coming out of your mouth when you're talking late at night to your significant other. It's coming out of your mouth when you're talking to your friends and family.
Mm.
That is the stuff that really builds friendships. And it's what causes people to say, I can't stand you.
Mm.
Right? Some people will see a single piece of my content and they will say, that guy's an idiot. He's a moron. He is stupid. He is ugly. I'll never listen to him a day in their life. Great. It is easier for me to spout this content off being myself than it is to seem polished. Because who am I going to attract polished? Nobody. There's no character.
Mm.
So in having personality, you push people away you don't want to work with, and you attract people who like who you are, or at least tolerate who you are. They don't have to be your best friend.
Yeah.
Right. And it builds trust because if I'm talking to you and I sound like the same sleazy greaseball salesman and I'm regurgitating the same crap out of my mouth, you're not going to like that. And that leads
Mm.
us perfectly into the answer. Now, with an answer, there's two things that we need to consider. And again, like think about what we're talking about. We are talking about such a simple question and we are breaking it down on such a micro level. Can you guys tell I don't touch enough grass? There's two things when you answer a question. Two things. I'm going to ask you guys a question and I'm gonna take you guys through a thought experiment. You can reply or you can put it in the chat, whatever you guys prefer. What do you think is the best way to shave a dog?
Let him possibly give him some sedative.
Okay, so start off with maybe some incentive, maybe like try to like bribe him into letting you cut his hair.
Well, I was gonna say sedative. Just go right to having him sleep. But not like obviously death.
Oh,
Just,
like a sedative. Oh yeah, knock him out.
yeah,
He's like, I'm not worrying about you biting me or licking me or peeing on the table. Knock him out. Okay.
yeah.
Hassan, what do you think the best way to shave a dog is?
I don't know. No, shave the dog. Hold it down. Well, I think sedative is a good idea.
Okay, cool. In your answer, I ask you a question. I'm not a dog groomer either. In the question, there is what you think. And then there is reality. This is with
Mm.
topics that we are not confident on.
Okay.
Here's what you think you should do. In reality, here's what you should do. I have to remove this before I plant this.
Mm.
If I try to plant this and you already have a preconceived notion, you're going to stick with this. How do I remove what you think in exchange for reality? Or even, let's be even more like dramatic with it. What I think. Why is what I think better than what you think? Well, how do I address this? Because until for you to agree with what I think, I have to decimate what you think. What is the only reason that you would stop thinking the way you are thinking currently and go with what I think? And you can reference the dog analogy if that helps visualize it.
Because you'll convince me what I think is wrong.
I have to convince what you think is wrong, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. How do I convince what you think is wrong?
Um. Well, you gotta understand what I guess think, or you gotta say a lot of people think this way, but it's wrong because I don't. You should have proved that it's wrong, that it doesn't work.
Yes.
You know.
And what you're saying, it's funny watching Hassan go through this because so many other people, I've done this to Catherine, I've done this to Amanda before, where you guys come on. What you're seeing is like, and I'm picking on you, Hassan, because I put everybody through it. You're thinking like, what is he trying to get me to say? And then you go, I don't know, so let me just say what I think, and you already have the right answer. It's so much simpler than people make it out to be. For you to think what you think is currently wrong, I'll give you an analogy. If I tell you the best way to shave a dog is to pin it down, and every time you do that, you get bit, are you going to think that's the best way?
No.
No, maybe actually. What if everyone tells you, hey, that's part of the game?
Then I might think, oh, maybe I'm not doing it wrong. You know.
Right, but what if I told you everybody does it that way, everybody gets bit, you're perfectly normal? It's harder. We already know the answer, don't do it, but it's harder to get out of that trap, right?
Yeah.
So what I have to do to get you to realize that what you think is wrong is I have to outline the symptoms.
Okay.
Then I have to give you an alternative. Why would you go with the alternative? Because the alternative is void of the symptoms I just outlined up here.
Mm.
That is the only reason. only reason, think about it. You think it's good. Look at the flow we have right on the screen. You think it's good to hold a dog down and shave it backwards. When
Mhm.
you do that, the dog bites you. What if I told you there's an alternative where you could shave the dog and never get bitten?
Yeah,
Here's how I do it. You
yeah.
now all of a sudden are listening because guess what? It's not that we don't want to change what we think.
Mm,
But I can tell you right now, the symptoms are what lead to the pain, which
mm,
leads to the question.
mm.
Do you like getting bit by dogs? The other day, I was in the elevator. There's this tiny little dog. I'm talking like teacup poodle. Reached out, she bit my finger. Tiny little thing. I wanted to say some words that my mom would not appreciate. Okay. I
It's
wanted to
always
like,
the little dogs. It's always the little dogs that
yeah, I
bite
wanted to like,
you.
I wanted to like drop kick it into darkness. Okay. Don't do that. Please don't drop kick small dogs, but I wanted to. Okay.
Yeah.
In the pain, I think to myself, okay, well, that wasn't fun.
Mm.
Right. Let me ask you, you're wearing a shirt, right?
Yeah, jumper.
You put on your shirt the exact same way every day.
Yeah.
Great. You don't change it because there's no pain.
Yeah.
If putting on your shirt was painful, you would probably switch to robes or sewing a shirt on your side or having maybe a button-up shirt because you don't want to lift your hands above your head, right?
Yeah.
There's no pain, there's no reason to change. So I
Mm,
have to associate the symptoms with the pain, and the pain,
mm,
I have to reinforce that the pain is stemming from the way you're doing it wrong. But there's good news. There's an alternative. The
mm,
alternative is void of pain and it has more benefits. And the benefits, when we talk about benefits, they should address or they should be further proven by what Catherine said, which is proof of concept.
mm,
Well, how do I know the alternative works? Here's proof. So
mm,
guess what? Guess what we've just outlined. Old way bad, new way good. And because the new way is good and the old way is bad, if you are even remotely interested, call to action.
mm,
Now again, so let's go back to our original piece. We've discussed how to find this. We've discussed the proof of concept, which is pretty simple. It just has to be proof that you've solved it before. We've discussed the answer, old way bad, new way good. Now let's talk about the call to action. If I tell you, hey, I've seen a lot of people ask this question. Here's how you solve it. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want me to do it, hit me up here. How many people do you think are going to convert?
maybe a couple.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
What if I said problem, proof of concept, which is reason reason why you should listen to me, bullet points, 1, 2, 3. Here's what I recommend. 4 or 5, right? And then I go call to action. A lot of people, what they do is they go DM me. Why is DM me bad?
It requires another, like you have to find your page, send your message, and also it's kind of off the page.
Think
I
about
don't know.
this. When people DM you unsolicited offers, are you happy or do you ignore it?
Ignore it. Yeah. Leave it in
Okay.
the,
When they're
yeah.
DMing you, what are they DMing you about?
Um, Marketing stuff and how they
Money.
can,
They want their money,
but
right?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Money. So what if I say, go to my website?
Mm.
What happens at the website?
You
I'm gonna give you a little hint.
saying,
Money, right?
yeah, yeah.
What if I say, if you want more information,
Mm.
I'll link a video that goes more in depth.
Mm.
What am I going to get out of you going to that video?
Nothing really. I feel like you're not getting anything. You
Maybe
get my
views.
you get my views. I think you get my trust if it's a good video.
Yeah, views, maybe.
Yeah.
And then what does Alec put in his content up here to address anybody who might complain about, well, he's getting views on his video? If you're upset that I'm getting free views, let me know roundabout where you live. Actually, just let me know in general because there's a wonderful technology called telemedical. I will send you a list of therapists that help out with anger management. It's in every one of my videos.
Hmm.
Because if I address it and then they comment it, who looks silly? They look silly. I already know that if I have a call to action, someone's going to complain about it. So you're upset about me asking for money. I get that. You're upset for me
Hmm.
asking the website, go to money. I get that. You're upset because I'm
Hmm.
getting views. You're upset because YouTube is paying me. How much of a sad, hating person do you have to be? So now if
Hmm.
I proactively address it, do you think I'm going to see a
Hmm.
single comment saying, oh, he's doing this to get views? Yeah. I said that in the video. Yeah. I put that in my intro.
Hmm.
So it drastically reduces the negative people.
Hmm. Yeah.
And because I'm addressing it, it sets me up as authority and it shows my personality. My personality isn't everything, right? So if I push to the video, then I might get link. I might get things. Now, if they watch the video or if
Hmm.
they see the video, are they going to perceive me as someone trying to make money or someone trying to be and it's never just an absolute. But do you think
Yeah.
they're going to perceive me as someone who is trying to more than likely make money or more than likely provide value?
The thing you're trying to provide value, of course, you
Right.
probably some way
So
of
check
making.
this out. If I want to, and this is all value based, right? You got to 8 mile them, right? If this is all value based, some people will never go to your video. You've already checked off the box that, oh, I didn't want him to sell. They're going to see this. They're going to see this, and it's going to answer this. And they may never watch the video. So what I do is I do a double CTA. There's a video, or what if I want them to have a conversation with me? But we know
No DMs.
no DMs. What else can they
Hmm.
do?
What else can they do?
They can go to the video or
Hmm.
comment.
Comment.
And if you comment any questions, I'll answer every single thing in the open.
Hmm.
So what does that do? Reinforces value. The video
They're
reinforces value, the comment reinforces value. It helps the algorithm, like Andrew
yeah.
just said. I think that's
You can,
Andrew.
you can comment on the video you're saying, or comment on your reply on Facebook,
Comment on the comment or on the post.
on the post. Yeah.
Hey, just comment. I'll answer everything in the open. And here's
Okay.
the crazy thing that happens. I
Yeah.
had this happen the other day. I had somebody, hey Andrew, I got a notification. I click on the notification. I had a post 96 weeks old.
Mm-hmm.
I had done the video and I told them to comment. And I got a
Mm-hmm.
comment on a post that was 96 weeks old. And
Mm-hmm.
some people, they won't comment, they won't watch your video. They will actually, because I didn't ask them to, they will actually just go ahead and DM me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I saw
That's
your post.
yeah.
I had 3 people DM me this past week. Hey, I saw this and that. I'm looking for a mentor. Can you help me out?
Yeah.
But I've never made a post saying, give me your money.
Hmm. Okay.
So let's put it all together. Your intro, I'm going to do this in blue and then I'll switch to black so you'll see why. So the intro needs to be question you've seen. Does that make sense? I've
Yeah.
seen this problem before. I've seen this question before. Therefore, I want to help it out. I want to help you out. Now,
Yeah.
why should you listen to me?
Okay.
Why me?
Hmm.
Proof of concept.
Hmm.
I own my own gym. I did this exactly in my own gym. I went from this to that in this time frame. I know there's and you want to add with the personality. If I describe marketer, somebody describe to me very quickly the characteristic traits of a marketer. Or I'll say salesman. Describe to me the characteristic traits of a salesman. Or even businessman, businesswoman. Describe to me money hungry,
Money.
good. What else?
Pushy.
She,
What else?
It
These
says
are perfect. These are really good. Keep going.
a bit like sleazy, a bit
Arrogant,
again, yeah, dodgy maybe. I don't know.
dodgy, untouchable, gel hair. Check it out. Why me? Because this is already, you have to use a little bit of arrogance to answer this. What if in the why me,
Yeah.
you humble yourself?
Mm,
This right here is antithetical to marketers because you
mm,
expect what everybody just described. None of you just said a word that the other person was like, no. You all
mm,
agreed. No one protested the other person. So what if I humble myself? Why me? I run a gym. I started at this age, at this number. I took it from scratch to this in this time frame. Humble
yeah,
yourself because they're expecting, oh, it's cocky. What if immediately you humble yourself?
yeah,
I know there's people doing so much better than me. So by
yeah.
all means, take my advice with a grain of salt.
Mm,
I help out other companies, but by all means, there's 1,000 ways to scale a gym. This is just
mm,
the way that worked for me.
mm, yeah.
So the humility comes in owning that you're not the best. Because again, there's only one person in the world that's the best at anything. Okay. There's the best salesman in the world. There's the best marketer in the world. There's the best badminton player in the world. There's one. That's it.
Mm,
You can only be you. So just be humble and own what you are. Own it.
mm,
Own it. I'm brand new. I have no clients. What is that good about with me? Or why is that a benefit in my favor? Because
mm,
I have no clients, which means I'm hungry to get results. Because I'm hungry to get results, I'm helping the first 3 people for free for 3 months.
mm,
I'm doing the exact same things that those guys are doing. Whoa, wait a minute. I have no proof of concept. So what do I do if I don't have a proof of concept? I refer to just the concept. This is how I closed my first client ever. First client ever. I remember I was in my house in Virginia, closed $4,998. I went to my wife. I said, I just closed a client for 5K.
mhm,
And last week, I sent in a single day 6K to myself as a payout. This is not to brag. There's people who make way more money than me. It's not for me to brag. It's for me to say where you guys were, so was I. It is
mm,
not at all for me to brag. And I want you, and I have students now who are doing better than me. What did I do to close that first 5K client? Because 5K is not chump change. Okay.
mm, yeah.
I know it doesn't buy you a Bugatti, but it's not chump change.
Mm,
So check this out. I referenced concept. I know exactly what these guys do because I've studied it. Which who of you have studied my course? I know exactly what Alec does to scale clients. I can do it. I know
mm,
exactly what Google statistics say about missed call text backs. I've seen the videos on how to do it. I can do it. And because
mm,
I don't yet have the proof of concept, I can reference just the concept. And for
mm,
that, I can help with my pricing. Hey, if you go to Alec, and this is a true story, if you go to Alec for a coaching call one on one, it's going to be $2,000. Or you can come to me. I'm going to do everything that he tells me to do. I'm going to do everything that he's told me that he does. I'm going to do everything he's ever done that helps with his clients. I learned from him all the things that he's learned from other clients. I know exactly every single thing that he's going to tell you to do. And I can do it for you for half of what he charges for just a single hour. And I'll do it in a whole month.
mm,
So if you have the funds, yeah, go talk to Alec. Yeah, go hire Gary Vee. Yeah, go have a call with Alex Hormozy or Grant Cardone, right? What does Grant Cardone charge for a call? It's like 250K, right? Or you can come to me, Hassan, Amanda, Catherine, Andrew. You can come to me and I can do the exact same thing for a fraction of the price. And you can now you've also justified it because it's not sleazy. Oh, I could lower it to this price. No, you've explained. In explaining, what have you done? You've humbled yourself. You've owned your situation, and that's much more believable. That is
mm,
much more believable as to why you're giving me a discount. And in the
mm,
beginning of the call, Hassan, what'd you say? If I see a discount, I automatically assume you're just trying to make money. But if I say, here's my situation, that's why my pricing is low. Oh, that makes sense,
mm, yeah.
right?
Mm,
That's exactly what I did. So the exact same thing is I saw somebody who had a package. I'm not even kidding. The package was for the same services. It was 20K for a month. I took the service. And I said, I'll do the whole thing, 5K.
Mhm.
He said, well, couldn't I go with the 20K guy? I said, 100% you could. He's going to do the exact same thing. He's got case studies. I've studied under him and when I say study under him, I did. You know how I did it? I went to his YouTube. YouTube is a gold mine.
Mm.
To his YouTube, I learned the whole thing because he talks about it on his videos. What does Alec do? Alec yaps nonstop, right? Let me yap. Ask your questions. That's what you guys are here for, right? So I
Mm.
went to the guy. I studied the exact thing he did, and I said, "Hey, I'll do the whole thing for 5K. Or if you want, go to him and pay the 20K. It's the same thing. You might get it a little faster, and you might get to meet a cool guy while you do it. Or you can say 15K, and I'll do it." Guess who closed a package?
Mm.
4998. And then guess what I did? Took this money, went to the VA, let them do the whole thing. All I did was keep 90% of it and QC, QA, quality checks, quality assurance. That's all I did.
Nice.
What was the service? Hey, Alec, you
Hey,
guys.
Sebastian. It
What was the
was
service?
at the time it was short form video creation, which I've moved away from.
Mm.
But we do this exact same, but you can use this exact same play to diminish your pricing. So if you
Mhm.
know most marketers, and this is why you do the competition analysis, are charging 3,500. I have one-on-one clients who we charge 3,500 for a setup fee. Say, hey, most people are going to charge this for the exact setup that I cover in the step 3 training. But I am going to charge this. Do the exact same thing. And if
Mhm.
check it out, if I'm this guy, how am I going to downplay this person? They have no proof of concept.
Yeah.
Right? They have no proof. And if I'm
Mm.
this person, how am I going to downplay this person? We're doing the same thing. I don't need proof. Also, that's why it's cheaper.
Mm.
Don't be the perfect fit for everybody. You just got to be yourself and own it.
Mhm.
So we have part 1, and the reason this is in blue is because this is optional. So if you're making a post, you would need this. If you're doing a reply, then you would just skip 1 and you go straight to 2. Hey, I can answer this question. Here's why me. Here's what I've done. Here's why you should listen to me.
Yeah, and then a bit of humbling. Okay.
Right. Hey, I can answer this question. You know, there's probably people smarter than me, but let me see what I can do to help you out. Then it's going to be old way bad. Remember what they think? I have to get rid of it. A lot of people try this. Here's the symptoms of it not working. And here's the indirect symptoms. So when we do old way bad, it's the same exact thing we do in the modified close. The modified close is where are you? So it's going to be metric. And actually, let me not say metric. Let me say a better word would be what's the word? It's here it is. It's quantitative versus qualitative. This is what you want to cover in old way bad. Okay.
Okay.
Then you want to do, and I'll explain that in a minute. Then you want to do new way good. Same exact thing. So
Mhm.
somebody tell me a very important metric in their client's business type. So nobody here works with auto detailers, so I'll use this as an example. How many cars are you wrapping or detailing a month? That would be a quantitative, right? So somebody give me a metric like that.
Mm. How many
Inspections
properties
booked.
were sold?
Yeah, what was yours?
Maybe how many consultations are conducted among how many listings from those consultations we close, right?
Okay,
Something
so we
like
have
that.
sure, yeah, that works. So inspections booked or consultations booked, right?
Hmm.
If I say how many inspections booked do you get a month? Can I answer that good? No. You're looking for what? A number,
Hmm.
right?
Mm.
So let's role play. Let's say, Catherine, I'll pick on you because you put inspections booked. So let's say you say inspections booked is the most important metric. Great. And let's just role play. I know you've seen this with your clients, with your own clients, right? How many are you getting a month? This is the quantitative. Quantitative. How many are you getting a month right now?
I would say most likely 20 to 25 currently.
What's the next part that I need to ask? Qualitative. That's what you're currently doing. You're on a sales call. You want to get it higher. So now I'm going to say, where do you want that 20 to 25 to be? Where would you like this number to
I would
go
like
to?
to triple that, so 70, 60
60 to
a
70.
month. Yeah.
Qualitative. Why are you unhappy with 20 to 25? She's going to tell me the symptoms. Why do you want to be at 60 to 70? She's going to tell me the benefits. Guess what benefits are? They are good symptoms.
Mm.
And what are symptoms? Symptoms are bad benefits,
Mm.
right? It's the exact same thing. So when you are doing your old way bad, new way good, you want to say, hey, most people are number, which leads to symptoms.
Mm.
So most people are at this number, which leads to symptoms. And we'll take it a step further. Most people do X, Y, Z, which leads to numbers, which leads to symptoms. So if we want the symptoms to change, we need the numbers to change. If we want the numbers to change, we have to stop doing X, Y, Z. Instead, we need to do A, B, C, which leads to new metric, which leads to benefits. Call to action. If you have any questions, when you do your call to action for your video, this is really important. The video should be an afterthought. It should be an afterthought. Does anybody know why the video should be an afterthought?
Is this sorry? Is this for a call to action where in the post or in a reply group?
It would be, yeah, at the end of the post, the video is someone, oh, by the way, I made a video. Why would I rather say, by the way, I made a video? Oh, if you're interested, I also have a video on this.
Was
So it doesn't sound like you're selling them.
It
Yeah.
doesn't sound like you're selling them.
yeah. Doesn't sound like
It's almost like I'm giving you water in the desert, and then as you walk away, I'm such a nice guy that I go, oh, hey, I got another water bottle. Oh, wow, that's so nice.
Mm.
So it further reinforces the value.
Mhm.
So then
Also,
Nicole,
like a reverse psychology, right?
how so? Because
I
Andrew
mean,
makes
like,
short form content like crazy and does really well. So I'd like to see, like, yeah, how so? How so?
so it's kind of like you're telling them, like, look, I'm not here to sell you. I'm not here to, make a profit. But if you are interested, or I'm not here to do that. If you are interested in, this free education, like, you can go watch my YouTube video. Again, I'm not here to sell you. You're kind of
Exactly.
reassuring them. You're reassuring them so you can break down their wall. That, hey, like, because I used to do the same thing when I was selling makeup and hair straighteners in the mall. So like, hey, like, I'm not here to sell you. I just want to show you it so you can, if you want it next time you come back, like, I'll be here. But
Yeah.
usually they like it right then and there, so it gets them to sit down and it gets the conversation. So at
Mm.
least you can start booking, like, you can get more, books to like close them.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
conversion is going to be higher instead of like, hey, I have this to sell, and it's like people don't want to be sold to.
So Andrew, what Andrew's saying, and this is exactly the next. I'm so glad you said that, Andrew, because it's almost like we rehearsed this, so it's going to make me segue really nicely. If I can get them to the video will lead them to the funnel, or it will tell them to ask questions. How do I end every video? Hey, if you want to work with me, here's a link. If you have questions, hit me up on social. Those are the only two outcomes I want to come from this video, right?
Mhm.
But if I say in my post, again, we covered this, I can't push them. Here, I'll put it in red so that way we know it's a no-no.
Also, you you even say like, hey, you know what, I even have the course is online, it's free, so like don't feel like, I'm selling it to you. Like you can even just, whether you subscribe or not, like here's the free link. So it's kind of like you're still giving them more education, but to like reassure and show you an authority to like, hey, I trust him because he's not selling.
Exactly. So we can't push straight to the funnel, but we can push to the video. The video will push to the funnel. Let's look at what Andrew just said. Andrew just said when he was working in the mall, and the reason I'm going to harp in on this example now is because it's such a wildly different analogy or example from content, and yet it still works. So he's saying, I want to sell, but I can't just straight up sell. So I know that the people who buy, reverse engineering, sit in my seat and they let me use the product on them. So if I want more sales, I can't go straight here. No, I instead need to go here and let that go there. So instead of saying me push you to buy, I need to instead push you to content or a social media post. And the post pushes you to the next step, the video. And the video pushes you to the funnel, or it pushes you to the questions. And if you have a question, I can push you to the funnel, or guess what else I can do? Oh, hey, I have another video on that. And what is the video going to do? Push you back to the questions or push you back to the funnel. So when you're making the content, when you are trying to do a sale, the reason we do it this way is because of this. This is the client purchasing journey. Do not go from stranger to sale. Instead, go from stranger to I've seen your content, to I watch every video you post, to I ask you some questions, to hey, I'm ready to work with you. So when we look at that metric, how do we reverse engineer it? Well, you need the funnel built, number one. Then you need the social built, number two, for the DMs. Then you need the long form content, number three. Then you need the short form content, number four. And before even the funnel, part of the funnel is what? The offer. This is the starting point, a zero. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to have your minds blown? What order does SASO University take you through? And after the short form, what happens? The sale. Oh, you mean step 5? Once you get a sale, how can we get better content? Well, we need case studies. Oh, do you mean step 6? And as I'm growing, don't I need to improve how my business operates? Yeah. So we need to say so your business, right? Fulfillment and say so. Oh, you mean step 7? Well, how do I put together a good offer? Oh, you mean you need to sell what the niche wants? You mean step 1, niche selection? See how the whole thing comes together? That's exactly why it's in the order it's in. Because if I took you in any other order, it would be redundant. It would be a waste of time. It would be repetitive. It would be inefficient. So when you're making your post, and like this, I want this to be like, think about it. We've been on the call for at least an hour now, right?
Yeah.
All to answer one question. How do I make posts in group to promote long form content? Do you guys see how much, and this is not me saying patting myself on the back, but do you see the level at which I'm trying to get you guys to think to make a simple social media post? The boxes you've got to check, the process you have to have in place. You guys see now why I say pick the niche, which determines the offer, which determines the funnel, which determines the digital presence, which determines the socials, which determines the long form, which determines the short form, which determines how you sell, which determines the case that you see how it's all in order for a specific reason. So on the top end, it looks so simple. It looks so clear. It looks so doable and easy. Oh, you just do this, this, and this. And then you go to execute. And this is why I do the group calls. You go to execute, and what happens? Whoa, it's a lot more complicated than I realized. There's a lot
Yeah.
more in the back end than I realized. That's why I have the group calls. So when you're stuck on something that seems so small, like how do I promote the long form video? We can spend an hour and 10 minutes dissecting it.
Mm.
And then the first time you go to do it, because I've suffered the 3.5 years by myself doing it, I can now save you 3.5 years. It didn't take me 3.5 years to learn that, but over the process of 3.5 years, I can now condense that into an hour-long course, and I can teach it to you in a way where not only do you understand what to do and how to do it, but you understand the psychology behind it. And if you understand the psychology behind it, what have I just done? I just did to you the same thing I'm telling you to do to your clients. I took what you thought, the symptoms, got rid of it, and I said, here's the new way to do it, here's the benefit, and here's the path that the client would go through. So now the idea is that you will walk away from this call thinking that makes a lot of sense, and I know how to do it, and now I really want to do it. I'm fired up because I know how to do it. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
This is an hour training on how to make a post to promote a long form video.
Mm.
It's like, and again, the level of thought that goes into it is from think about how many posts people have made, or think about how many times I've probably made a post in my life where I'm like, make a post. Well, I've never done this, but because I was so skeptical of myself, I said, how do I make a post where people aren't going to rip me apart? Who's seen a post where someone goes, hey, I can do this and that? And the comments are like, get out of here. They're basically like stoning them through the computer. They're throwing them rocks and tomatoes, right? And then what happens? You're thinking, well, I'm the next guy up. I don't want to go on stage. They're going to stone me to death and hit me with tomatoes, right? But when you do it
Yeah.
this way, it
That's
answers
true.
every single problem. It checks every single box to where you're protected.